seconds away on Studio 5.
A traveling man was told.
Behind the scenes of what may be the greatest film of the year and the raw emotion of the real-life Detroit anniversary. Did you find yourselves breaking down, or?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then
Contact started small, but then she wanted permission to move into the doll. We soon realized it wasn't our daughter.
lessons learned from the horror film getting high marks.
Wherever evil is, grace is in more abundance.
This priest is weighing in on Annabelle Creation. Plus, the amazing voice of Anthony Evans, all in Studio 5, starting now. Welcome to Studio 5. This is a special edition focusing on the 50th anniversary of the Detroit Rebellion, and we've got lots to get to. So let's jump right into the countdown of the week's top 5 best headlines in uplifting entertainment news. Here's number 5. At number 5.
Hang on! Cyrus! Down!
I expected a left turn 2 deserts ago.
It's your first look at the holiday film with the all-star cast of voices. That includes Gina Rodriguez, Kelly Clarkson, Anthony Anderson, Chris Christopherson, Tracy Morgan, Tyler Perry, and Oprah Winfrey.
King Herod is up to something.
Mary, you're in danger. You need to listen to what I'm about to say extremely carefully.
It's the story of the first Christmas through the eyes of the animals in the film called The Star. It premieres in American theaters November 10th.
There's something seriously wrong with those animals.
At number 4.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
It's been 20 years since actor Kel Mitchell welcomed fans to Good Burger. Check his Instagram page these days for his heartwarming welcome to his wife and their new baby Wisdom. He writes, "Our daughter is a reflection of your beautiful greatness and loving spirit. Our daughter is a blessing. For this child we have prayed." 1 Samuel 1:27. Prayers do get answered and dreams do come true.
Whee! Whoa, flying with hamburgers!
And those are just the first 2. It has been exactly 50 years since racial injustice triggered an all-out rebellion in the city of Detroit. And even if you know the story, there's at least one powerful tale you probably haven't heard until now. Here's your first look at the film, Detroit.
We have these conversations, we do them in stages. Stage 1, witnesses. Stage 2, suspects.
What happened at the motel?
Turn that radio up.
What you gonna do?
Nice does, man. Thanks. We were performing earlier.
I'm performing. He has lost control. Take a look at him now.
Police was there. There was a lot of shooting.
Police!
To anyone ever.
How intimately did you know the details of this story?
I knew about the riots pretty well. I didn't know about the story at the Algiers Hotel. So it was a surprise to me to learn how this little pocket of a huge explosion came to exist.
Tell me about your character, Green. Who is he?
Green is a airborne military vet coming back from the war in Detroit looking for work, like so many black men were.
What happened at the motel?
You don't know, I tell you. I was working security by Wisconsin, and on Tuesday night, we heard gunfire coming from the area near the Algiers. Police was there. There was a lot of shooting. When I went in there, 3 kids had been killed.
No. So they were killed right before you got there.
This film comes out as we mark the 50th anniversary of the Detroit Rebellion. Many would say the headlines haven't changed when it comes to officers and black men. What do you say?
I would say that a lot of that is factual. I would say the main difference is that now we have camera phones that can capture it as it happens. And the interesting thing is that at this time, I mean, we're telling one of over 300 stories that happened during the 60s. This was a very common scene.
All right, fellas, come on, let's get this together. You ready?
Let's go.
Get these steps together.
Hold on, let me get that note one more time.
If you
Hold this way.
A traveling man once told me that he didn't
Watch your space. Watch your
have a
space.
care, that any time he wants to move, and he'd go anywhere.
If you haven't got
The traveling man once told me.
Now, you play Larry, who was a part of the Dramatics, but walks away from it. Why do you think he did? What was it that made him walk away to turn to the church and singing, and he's still singing there today?
You know, I feel like when we were just talking about this a second ago, when first of all, Larry was 18 at the time when everything took place, and so having a dream of being a singer and then growing up when Motown is right in the city where you are and you're seeing all these amazing acts come through, you want that, and especially when you have a voice, you want to be able to get up there and sing, and that's all you see, and so that's your purpose behind it. When he went through these traumatic events and he realized, I don't want to go sing in the clubs anymore because that's where they are, he has to find peace now. He has to find something that he can do that isn't musically involved, something that he can just sit in the room with, and if nothing else is playing, how can he be at peace? And I feel like him finding the higher power for him and peace in his soul was more important than, you know, chasing what such a big dream that he wanted, but he was so good. It's like it hurts you to see his downfall of that, but it lifts you up to see his redemption.
Jacob, your character is one of the 3 men who dies in this film, and watching that scene and seeing you was quite powerful. Where did you go to bring him to life? Because you didn't get to talk to him or meet him.
I think out the gate we see that Fred and Larry's relationship, that Fred is sort of that support system that, like, as we know, when Larry is down about his music career and the whole Fox Theater performance, he's like, you're gonna get a record deal, you're gonna do it, you're gonna get there, you know. And I think Fred was absolutely he was just completely honest with himself all the time, you know. Even if his life just had to be taken away for it, and that scene when he asks, "What do you see?" I see what I see, you know. Yeah. I see something wrong, you know. And for me and Will to do that scene was it was.
For me to listen to that scene in the next room.
Yeah, I can't even explain it, you know. And it was tough for him as well. It's like because our relationship, and yeah, it gave me chills every time I talk. I can't even explain it, man. Yeah.
Hey fellas, Melvin Desmukes. I'm with United Security. I'm guarding that grocery store across the street. I come bearing gifts.
Oh, thank you. That's nice, boys. Hey, all things considered, this is pretty good.
Thank you. I don't have my usual appliances.
Oh, you got any sugar?
Don't push it, man.
You mentioned prayer earlier. How important was that for you in fulfilling this role?
It was a lot. It was really, really important. Like, I even had my mom, you know, pray over me sometimes. I'll go home and have like bad dreams and nightmares about the situation. So it was really cool. And I think there's a photo of the cast just standing there praying over each other. So yeah.
We prayed before every take for the most part.
And it's good because prayer changes energy. Yeah. You know, and like so many times as men, we don't console each other. And it was an easy way for us to get in that groove and show each other love. You know what I mean? By just holding each other's hands and saying this quick prayer right quick. Yeah. It changes the energy, and you know, it gives us a different type of love and trust for each other.
Detroit is in American theaters as of August 4th. Still ahead, here on Studio 5.
This doll, it's hurting Janice. I'm getting rid of it.
It's a horror film tied to a true story. Any fear?
I did. I was,
you did.
Especially because my grandma, she told me, she's like, are you really gonna do like a movie about like evil and the devil? Like,
we're sitting down with the cast of Annabelle Creation. And welcome back to Studio 5. We are continuing our countdown of the week's best headlines and uplifting entertainment news. Here's number 3. At number 3. This isn't your ordinary vacation Bible school. It's Chance the Rapper, teaching Chicago children to seek God through creativity and service at Kids of the Kingdom, a summer program born out of his charity, Social Works. And this video of Chance and the children singing, "Me and My God, We Get Turned Up," has gone viral. At number 2.
I am who I am today.
It's clear in her voice, R&B's Fantasia's roots are in gospel music. And the American Idol winner is honoring her late pastor and grandmother, Addie Collins, with a worship event in North Carolina. Fantasia credits her grandmother for introducing her to her faith and to gospel music. She died of a massive heart attack in 2015.
I survived it all in this because of you.
The worship event takes place August 27th. And with that, there is only one more left in the countdown. We're going to get to that in just a bit. We don't typically bring you looks at horror films here on Studio 5, but we did let you take a look at The Conjuring some time ago. Well, this next film has at least one tie to it, Annabelle Creation. So we're sitting down with the cast and crew to find the faith and light in this film.
After Samuel and I lost our daughter, we prayed to see our girl again. The contact started small, but then she wanted permission to move into the doll. We soon realized it wasn't our daughter.
Now you have a couple who calls upon something to help them in their time of distress. And what they end up doing is inviting a demon into their life.
She wanted permission to move into the doll so she could be with us forever. We said yes, and that's when it became stronger.
What happens that allows evil to enter?
Grief, bottomless grief.
Loss, yeah.
You know, losing a child, it's just unfathomable. And they are just deeply searching for any kind of contact that...
When he made the doll, it was to kind of fill a void.
An evil one is coming after me.
Annabelle Creation is the prequel to Annabelle, and while the doll does make an appearance in The Conjuring, this story is where it all began.
It's the origin. It's sort of where it all started, which we haven't really seen so far. Like, I think, you know, seeing the first Annabelle, you might think that, okay, that's where it started, but it actually happened way before that. And with, you know, the creation of the doll and how it first got possessed.
Janice, I told you not to use that room.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
You play Sister Charlotte. I think initially she seems resistant to accept that evil could be present in this house and dealing with the kids. She sort of dismisses it. Why do you think that is?
it's not being dismissive, it's just, you know, you have to double check that what's really going on. As being the grown up there, you have to like really, you know, have it right. Kids sometimes they have a lot of imagination, right? And second of all, what are you gonna do if you don't have a place to stay with 6 children?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Like in reality.
Yeah.
I can't stay here, Sister Charlotte. We can't stay here. We need to leave.
Leave? And go where? There isn't anywhere else for us to go.
You always say that even though we can't see God, we can feel His presence. Well, in this house, I feel a different kind of presence.
Diving into this story, especially since it has its roots in truth. Any fear?
I did. I was,
You did.
especially because my grandma, she told me, she's like, are you really gonna do like a movie about like evil and the devil? El diablo, mija. And I was like, okay, don't scare me, because I do believe in these things, and I believe in God and evil and spirits. So I was scared. I was creeped out.
What sustained you to get through it?
God.
God.
And my Bible.
How important is faith in terms of dealing with evil? We see it through The Conjuring, Annabelle Creation. How important is that element?
Well, I mean, certainly in this story, it's the most important thing to sort of have, that these characters have faith to sort of get through this ordeal.
Why are we in here? We should leave. No. Oh.
Either you have a favorite scene?
I really like the scene where I'm under the stairs because I feel like it was the scariest one.
Oh.
When we were shooting it, I was in the stairs in the dark alone by myself with just me and the doll for a while, and then when they called cut, I ran out and I was like, yes, finally! This doll, it's hurting Janice! I'm getting rid of it!
When you see a film like this and the work that you do, what lessons do we learn from seeing something like this?
Well, one of the things we have to keep in mind is that you can't play around with the supernatural, because God, it's God, and then all the other spirits that are not of God are demons. The reality is that when people say, well, I don't want to have anything to do with spiritual warfare, too late. You're already in it. As someone who practices a faith in Christ, where does Paul tell us in his writings? Wherever evil is, grace is in more abundance. God is more powerful than the demon. If there's one thing that you take from this movie, you've got to put your attention on God. You're going to be tested in your faith, but God has to be first in your life.
And Annabelle Creation hits theaters here in the States on August 11th. Up next. The amazing song and the amazing story.
I dealt with depression, and I just got to the point where I was comfortable saying it.
Behind Anthony Evans' new music. And welcome back to Studio 5. It is time for the final one in the countdown of uplifting entertainment news. At number 1. Recording artist Toni Braxton steps away from the mic to star in the television movie based on the real-life story of Antoinette Tuff. She's the Christian mother who convinced a gunman to stand down after he threatened to open fire inside an Atlanta elementary school. Braxton is star and executive producer of Faith Under Fire, which will air on the Lifetime Network. And that wraps the countdown for this week, but hold on, Studio 5 traveled to Los Angeles to catch up with our next guest. Anthony Evans was a contestant on NBC's hit The Voice, but he's also a preacher's kid with a powerful personal story of his own. And his latest song, See You Again, is what's playing in my ear.
I've seen darkness shattered by light. I've seen joy break after the night. I wanna see it again.
my first single is called See You Again, and the story behind that song is, this is a song that one of my friends wrote. Her name is Chrissy Nordoff, and she wrote songs like Your Great Name and Mercy. She's just a monster writer. We were writing one day and talking about the concept of being a preacher's kid. I don't want to just live off the things that God's done in my life in the past. And there came a point where I was always telling the same story, always addressing, an issue or a resolve from way back. And I said to her, I need a fresh move of God in my life. And she was like, I just wrote a song called See You Again, and that's what it is. It's like, I've seen you, heal. I've seen you make tears into laughter. I've seen you return joy to me, but I want to see it again. I don't want to be telling the same story. So the bridge encompasses the whole song, basically. It says, we remember all the great things you have done, but we believe that greater things are still to come. And that is what the heart of See You Again is my plea for the Lord to do more, and in turn, me inviting the audience to beg him to do the same. And what he's faithful in doing is always meeting you there when you ask. My new album, Back to Life, is based on 3 things: honesty, vulnerability, and transparency, and how those 3 things have brought me back to life. I was at a place in my career and in my ministry where I felt very not alive, spiritually, emotionally, just dead. But I've also gotten to a place where I knew how to get on a stage and say the right things and sing the right notes, but that doesn't feel good. Artificial spiritual life or emotional life, that's still not real living. I love honest lyrics. I am so over pretense in life. I don't like pretense. It's a waste of time. Musically, we push the envelope. Vocally, we push the envelope. But more than that, content-wise, I push the envelope, and I want the listener to not feel like, oh, that's a great song. I want their heart to be moved. If I wanted to tickle ears, I would do some other kind of, or solely tickle ears, I would do some other kind of music, And for me, success is not selling a bunch of albums and having a room full of people to listen to me sing. Success is me being at peace, because after having a hit record and a full tour, you can't go out and purchase peace. This album is about life change that I experienced and that I would love to translate into the listener's life.
Anthony's latest project is called Back to Life. It is available wherever you can purchase music. And still to come on Studio 5.
Hold on, let me get that note one more time. If you
A traveling man once told me that he didn't
watch your space.
have a care.
A closer look at the Detroit music story. We are just about out of time for this edition of Studio 5, so let's look ahead now to next week. Hillsong Young and Free. The current project that you're touring is called Youth Revival?
It was a prayer, like a bold prayer, youth revival. Let's stamp that over this generation, that there'd be a revival for people to come to know Jesus. And so I think with us every night that we play on this trip, we're praying for that there would be a spirit of revival in the place.
And I think Youth Revival is an expression of where we are as a church and where we are as a band as well.
Jesus, I found that you've always had me. Your love is never in doubt. I wanna love you like you love me.
And that is just one story you can look forward to seeing next week. We've given you your first look at the powerful film Detroit. We want to go back to the cast for today's final word about the power of music.
Hold on, let me get that note one more time.
A traveling man once told me that he didn't have a care.
I think music has like a way of just like speaking to our souls like no other. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like you can't even watch a good movie without music in the background, or like music just it's not words, so it's just like it brings something out of us that we can't really just express alone.
Yeah, true. Even instrumental music
Yeah,
Like, even like you were saying, even music without words, like music is just soothing. It can bring back memories. It can heal. It can hurt you. It can. It's so crazy how much power like that has. Like just those energy and sound waves. I think it's very important through the whole, not just through the civil rights movement, but even through people's lives.
Wow, that is indeed a great word and the final word for this edition of Studio 5. Until next time, reach out and touch me at Ephraim Graham on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And then you be sure to come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye and God bless.